Next, we want to talk about the midpoint formula. Midpoint being the exact halfway point between 2 points. And it sounds like that would probably be some very complicated procedure, have to do some Pythagorean theorem, take something by half, then try to extrapolate where that point would be. But actually, it's much easier than the distance formula, and it doesn't actually involve finding the distance. It doesn't tell you how far halfway is. It just tells you exactly what point is halfway between 2 points. So let's take a look at the points. 6, 1, and 4, 7. Alright, so 6, 1, and 4, 7. We want to know exactly what point is halfway between there. So we've got to find a halfway point. What point is exactly halfway between these 2 points? Now, our midpoint formula says we're looking for a point, right? We've got to find a point. So we need an x-coordinate and we need a y-coordinate. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a midpoint. So anytime you're asked for a midpoint, your answer should be a point. Make sure that you use a point. So we've got the midpoint formula, which says if you take the x-coordinates and find the average, add, divide by 2, the mean. And if you take the y's and you find the average, add, divide by 2, we're finding the mean, the average. That will give us our new x-coordinate and our new y-coordinate. Add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. Voila, instant midpoint. So if we look at this particular example, let's see, x's only, so 6 and 4. 6 plus 4 all over 2 is going to be 6 plus 4 is 10. Divided by 2 would be 5. Alright, now we got to do some y values. 1 plus 7. 1 plus 7 divided by 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that means that my midpoint is going to be the point 5, 4. Let's check it out. 5, 4 is exactly halfway. Looks like it to me. Looks exactly halfway. Always a good sign when it actually ends up on the line between the 2 points. So let's take a look. Yeah, right there in the middle of those 2 points. Now, sometimes if you graph it, you might be able to count where the midpoint formula is, but they don't always end up on a nice, even point. Do expect that there will be times that it falls on a fraction. Okay, it is okay to get fractions for a midpoint. That's why we have the midpoint formula. So let's try some points. -4, 7, and 3, -2. Alright, we want to find the midpoint between these 2 points. -4, 7 would be up here, and 3, -2 would be right here. So we're looking for the midpoint between these 2 points. What is exactly halfway? It doesn't ask us what the distance is. It just asks us to find the midpoint. So I'm going to add my x's. -4 plus 3, and then divide it by 2. Then I got to add my y's. 7 plus -2, all divided by 2. Let's do a little arithmetic. -4 plus 3 is -1. And -1 divided by 2 is -1/2. I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Okay? -1/2. 7 minus 2 or plus -2 is 5, and 5 over 2 is going to be 5/2. Also, I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. Okay? Don't change it to a mixed number. You can, if you want to graph it. 5/2 would be 2.5. Okay? So that may be useful to you if you actually do need to graph the midpoint. But I'm totally okay if you leave it as an improper fraction. So that means that our midpoint should be -1/2, which would be here, and up 2.5, which would put us right here. So that is our midpoint. Exactly halfway. And that looks pretty darn close to halfway to me. Alright, so this is the midpoint formula.